This week in our liturgies here at Risen Christ Catholic Parish, the Lord gives us words of encouragement. Just yesterday we celebrated the feast of the Transfiguration of the Lord. Christ is transfigured, giving Peter, James, and John a vision of his future glory. Why? To strengthen them. They are on their way to Jerusalem. Jesus knows that in a matter of a few days, the faith of all the apostles, not just James, John, and Peter, will be greatly tested as they witness Jesus condemned, tortured, crucified, and killed. Anticipating this great challenge to their faith, he gives them this momentary glimpse of his future glory with Moses, the giver of the law, and Elijah as a model of the prophets. Jesus is the fulfillment of the law and prophets. Peter wants to stay there. Let's build a tent for each of you. Let's remain here. But Jesus knows we have to go on. When times are good, the Lord blesses us. They're moments of strengthening us for challenges that lie ahead. They needed to continue to Jerusalem for Jesus to fulfill the will of the Father. But that moment on Mount Tabor, Jesus hoped, would carry Peter, James, and John through the most difficult days of their lives that lied ahead. What is your Mount Tabor? Where is your place where you experienced yourself being strengthened by the Lord in faith? Whether it's up on a mountain, as oftentimes Jesus goes to pray, and miracles happen in scriptures, as we have many here, and where I very much find the Lord walking amidst the streams and the trees and the animals and the beautiful blue skies and the brisk wind making that unique rattling sound in the aspen tree leaves. Maybe it's with family, with friends. It's here for Mass or adoration. Wherever it may be, whether you can get there or not, the Lord wants to encourage and strengthen us for whatever lies ahead in these difficult times. Find your place. And if you can't find that place where the Lord encourages and strengthens you, then let him lead you. He led James, Peter, and John up the mountain. And then God the Father said over Jesus, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." So if we follow him and listen to his commands, we will find that place where Jesus will always be faithful in strengthening us and blessing us for the difficult times that may lie ahead. Words of encouragement we hear again in today's Sunday reading, reminding us that we hear God not in the thunder and the lightning strikes and the earthquakes, but in that still, soft, quiet voice, like the breeze rustling through the aspen tree leaves. It is there in that stillness and silence that God speaks to us a word of encouragement, of strengthening, so that we're ready for whatever lies ahead. Can you hear his voice? Oftentimes it's difficult to recognize him and to hear him when we're afraid. And it happens in this Sunday's gospel. The fishermen are being tossed about by the waves of the Sea of Galilee. And being fishermen, when they're afraid, you know it's serious. And Jesus appears, frightening them all the more. They think it's a ghost. Jesus gives Peter and you and I these words of encouragement. Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. Peter said to him in reply, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." You know the story. He sank because he took his eyes off of Jesus. But while he stayed focused on the Lord, he could walk on water. That is our hope, that as things get tumultuous and difficult around us and underneath us, in the uncertainty of what lies ahead in the months coming with school and a potential second round of COVID-19 and earthquakes and disasters and problems around the world and tensions, Jesus calls us out from our boat. Do not be afraid. Take courage. It is I. And then this Monday, I conclude with a great story of St. Lawrence, Deacon and Martyr, a marvelous, powerful model of courage in the Lord and fidelity in the face of great anticipated suffering and persecution. The great St. Lawrence, Deacon and Martyr, was in charge he died in 258 AD. He was in charge of the church's purse, the money. And the emperor found out who he was and knew that he was in charge of all the money of the Christians. And so he called him and said, "Go and gather the money of the church and bring it here to me." Deacon Lawrence went out and gave away all the money the church had collected to the poor, the homeless, the widow, the needy, the alien, the orphan. And then he went into the king or emperor's presence, surrounded by those people, the destitute, the poor, the sick, the abandoned, the rejected, and said to him, behold the riches of our church." Of course, The emperor was furious. He wanted money, not people. But Lawrence was trying to teach him a lesson and speak to the truths of our faith. So the emperor had him tortured. He demanded that he be slowly grilled over the iron and killed in that way. My favorite part, Deacon Lawrence is placed on this grill. He's cooked on this swiveling or turning, rotating type of rotisserie chicken grill, but it is Deacon Lawrence, not a chicken. And tradition tells us that as he was being burned alive, he sang and praised God. Then in a moment he stopped, turned to his executioners and said, "Turn me over, I'm done on this side." And to show to you that the church has a great sense of humor, he is the patron saint of grillers. So if you're doing any grilling this summer, remember St. Lawrence. Say a little prayer so you don't burn the meat. You cook it just right. Ask for his intercession. And remember, even in the face of horrific torture and death, he remained faithful and courageous, speaking the truths of the faith and acknowledging the greatest riches of the church. Nothing we have in the Vatican, but you and I, and especially those most needy to whom we are charged to care for and love in Christ. So, as the weeks progress, remember this week and the words of encouragement from the Transfiguration this past Thursday to the readings this Sunday, to the great witness of St. Lawrence for all you grillers out there this summer. The Lord is encouraging us. For whatever lies ahead, take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. If we keep our eyes on him, if we listen to him, if we follow him wherever we go, we can walk above the turbulent waters that life always brings. Blessings, peace, and coraggio.